suite project, which you can see here where I've done my kind of suite board. This one is a really versatile one that actually works really well with lots of other stamp sets and dies. But what's really fantastic about this is you have got patterns in the stamp set to create your own background. You've got lovely ribbon combo. You've got fabulous, you can see here, full alphabet, but with duplicates as well to make words easy. And then we've got some lovely paper as well that you can see here in lots of different colours, and some resin dots too. So today I'm very much focusing on the stamp set and the dies. And the stamp set, as I said, has got lots of patterns you can use to create repeats. I'll be using the dies in a moment, and this is the card I'm making, which is also for a colour challenge. So it's a tic-tac-toe, and the line I chose had Calypso Coral, it's diagonal, Calypso Coral, Whisper White and Basic Grey. And as you can see here, actually I've used a couple of things. The scrappy strip technique, which is Bruno Bertucci, I think, who originally did it, but it's been around a long time. You just cut strips of paper and join them together. I've also used another die to go with this. So these are the dies, but I've used the Well Said dies to go with it to create the happy. So yeah, just a bit of fun, and let's get started. Other things that I have used include our foam sheets, which I've used for the dies. So I've cut, it comes in pieces like this, and it is simply just like our dimensionals, but in a solid sheet, perfect for those. And I've put that onto some Night of Navy, because one of the other lines had Bumblebee, Whisper White, Night of Navy. So that's what I've gone for. So I've put a bit of that on the back there. And I've gone for a slimline card, just because why not? So because I'm using the other colourway here, I have already prepared a slimline card. So this is 21 by 21, scored at 10.5 centimetres. I've then cut a piece of Night of Navy to go on the front there. And so this is 10 by 20.5 centimetres. And as you can see, I've gutted the middle. That means I've sort of cut 2 centimetres on my trimmer all the way around to make the most. And that obviously has given me my piece to do my die cutting with, because I mean I could have just die cut the letters out of the middle, but then you run the risk of having some marks on your card, hence it's better to take it out separately. So there's my layer. I've then got a layer to go on the front, which is half a centimetre smaller again. So this is then 9.5 by 20 centimetres, and that's what we're going to put our scrappy strips onto. And in order to do that and make it easy, what I found the best way to do that is to grab a piece of our adhesive sheet. So this is our just great for die cutting, but great whenever you want to put some adhesive on. Comes with some, so I'm just going to literally, a bit like doing bunny ears, I'm just going to turn back just about a couple of centimetres, and I'm going to line that up onto the front of my piece of card and then unroll it. So that's my fun bit. So that's ready now, and I'll peel that off in a bit to add our scrappy strips. And then what you want is a piece of card. I'm adding a piece of card for the inside, which I'll stamp shortly, and a piece for the front. Now the piece for the front, I have, it's just under half a sheet of A5. I'm adding it onto my stamping pierce mat, so we get a really good impression. And I've got 2 inks here, so I've got my Night of Navy and I've got my Bumblebee. So quite simply, I'm going to grab a scrap of paper as well, just to protect my stamping pierce mat, and I'm just going to alternate the stamps that I use and create some DSP. So being photopolymer, I should hopefully be able to line this up reasonably well. Of course okay, not too bad. And just a bit at the bottom there. So that's going to be, so I'm just going to alternate with the two colours really. So I'm then going to come in and let's do some of our little like starbursts. So like confetti. Now you could, if you wanted, layer the dots over the top of this. And I'm just kind of doing around about 2 centimetres of each, and alternating the sort of the pattern. So I've got a mix of small and bold patterns with each. Let's grab some light of navy. Big stamp, ink pad to stamp. And I'm just line that up by eye. Because you're going to cut these into strips, any joins actually are a lot less visible. Just as well, seeing as I've offset that one slightly. Let's have some yellow, some lovely bumblebee hearts. Now I'm starting to get inky smudges everywhere. I think I need a Simply chamois just for my hands. There we go. And then I thought I'd do some dots. In fact, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come in with some more of the sprinkles, and then I'm just going to come in, I'll show you on the other sort of dots on the edge. Now obviously the idea of the scrappy technique is that you use up scraps of DSP. Obviously no reason why you can't create your own in effect. Let's use this one, and then on this one, the reason I've chosen to do this one right in the end is because I can come into an angle, so that makes life easier because you're not trying to match up anything on the end, and it doesn't matter if your angles are a little bit out because to-ing and froing. So at the end of this, you're going to have a piece of cardstock that's all different colours. Let's pop my ink pads away. And it's quite simply, you come in and you just cut at an angle. So you sort of come in about a centimetre or so and cut at an angle. Then you come straight, and then I come at a different angle. So, and because we're going to mix all these together, it doesn't matter the width of these. You can vary them depending on your own personal preference, but basically make each one. And if you get a little bit and you think, oh, I really don't want the blue there, you can always just trim that. So. And the lovely thing about, you have to say, using the, not quite straight, I'm just going to straighten that off. Using the adhesive sheet is that you don't get gluey. I found when leaving, providing you don't want a gap, and obviously some people leave a gap between them, and if you did that you would need to then add something like gilding flakes or something else in between. Because obviously the adhesive sheet would show through, so you'd need something to take that adhesive off. So I'm just varying this but it does make it much quicker when gluing it together. And you come to the last little bit where we just do like so. So, having done that, bring in your piece of Whisper White that's got the adhesive sheet on, and starting at one end, just peel back a portion. And then all I do is I line up my first one on the end, and then I'm just coming in and alternating with blue and yellow. And I'm tending to use the thicker bits, unless like that I've got a bit of an ink smudge. And just taking the patterns in no particular order. Just like this. And I'm just butting that up to the previous piece of card. Just looking for the next yellow bit. And again. And as you work your way along, so you can just create a fun background. And as I say, I'm just mixing those patterns up as I go along. So try not to get into sort of too regular a pattern. Just spacing them out. I am tending to go with the hearts, obviously in the same orientation, just because that makes life obviously much easier to work out where it's going to be on the front of your card. Just have some more yellow. Like so. And again, just come in. So the only tricky bit is just, not even tricky, it's just butting that up. And then we'll reach a point where you're happy that, and if you get a piece, as I've just there, where stuff, it's a little bit, it's starting to come away at a particular angle, just put an extra bit in, and that'll soon kind of square it back up. And just turn your pieces over so you can sort of see them. And then all that we then do at the very end, try and get a, might actually have to go with some dots there. So what you want is a piece that's going to cover up that very end. So what I'm going to do is actually come in with a stripe the other way. Then you can obviously pop it on your trimmer. I find it easier to come in from the reverse. And you should just have a couple of long edges and maybe a tiny bit on the very end to trim. And so I've just got a tiny little sliver here. Okay, so there's my scrappy strips. And all I need to do now is pop my dies through to create my front panel. So this panel can go onto my card. So it makes quite a sturdy front. And I've cut out my happy already out of some bumblebee, and then with my dies, because all we need to do is just pop those on. Why is it you can never find them? D and Y. And I tend to keep them in here just because I can see them more easily, preferably not pinging them off. So just arrange those and they will go through really easily, even together. So I just pop and then you can either put those through with your mini cut and emboss, or your whatever embossing machine you happen to have, and just to fiddle around with them till you've got space. And when those go through, which I've just knocked them all off, you will get your words. I'll probably need to cut this, edit this. Thank goodness I did my other one. And away we go. So what I tend to do is work from the last letter. So end up, you might need to use your pokey tool. But because they just pop out really easily, you can see how quick this is. I'm going to have to leave a gap for my eye. Oh no, I have got an eye somewhere. My eye has come out already. Ah! Okay. And there we have. Very nearly. Just leave a gap for my eye because I'm going to have to What you don't do though is do what I've just done, which is birdie. Okay, so I'll be taking that off and adding it back in just a moment. The joy of not putting things down too heavily, but you will end up with a card that is great fun and adds a little bit of dimension. And with this one, I've put it through, as you can see there, with the adhesive sheet on the back. So just adding adhesive sheet to the back of your die cut, you will end up with a word that is really easy to add to the front of your card. So, happy birthday! Or it will be a birthday by the time I've finished with it. Just pop that on, like so. And there we have our Playful Patterns birthday card. It's going to be one of those days, folks. There we go. I can add my tea in now. And then leave space for my eye, and there we go. Thanks for watching. You know what it's like with me, warts and all. I hope you enjoyed. Come back and see me again soon. Bye now.